Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're throwing on our detective hats. We're going to dive in and uncover exactly how authors build their most powerful hidden messages and really master the art of developing and tracing literary themes. Have you ever been watching your favorite movie or maybe reading a book, and you suddenly realize, wait a second, there is a hidden message repeating just beneath the surface here? It's like this subtle warning about greed that just kind of stalks the main character in every single scene. Well, finding those messages isn't some happy accident. It's a deliberate psychological design by the author. And today, we are going on a mission to track those hidden ideas down.
So, here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll hit decoding literary themes, why tracing themes matters, how to trace themes, tracing themes in action, education, morality, and you, and finally, test your knowledge.
Okay, Section 1, Decoding Literary Themes. What exactly is a theme?
Simply put, a theme is a big idea or message. But here's the absolute kicker, the most crucial part of this definition. It's not just stated once. It is developed through the entire story. A theme isn't some throwaway, one-off comment made by a random side character in Chapter 2. No, it's the heartbeat of the narrative. It actually requires endurance to fully grasp because it's woven into the events, the dialogue, and the symbolism from the very first page to the absolute last.
You know, there's actually a brilliant illustration of this exact concept in Matthew 24:13. It says, "But the one who endures to the end will be saved." Much like the spiritual endurance mentioned right there, a true literary theme must survive the gauntlet of the story. It doesn't just quit when the plot gets complicated, right? It evolves with the characters, it takes the hits, and it endures all the way to the final page of the narrative. Moving right along to Section 2. Why tracing themes matters. Let's talk about the real-world stakes here. So there are really two massive arenas where this skill totally pays off. First up is the immediate benefit, school. Being a theme detective helps you absolutely crush your essays because you can provide a bulletproof text evidence. You can point out exactly how an author reinforces their message. But the real-world stakes? Well, that's your everyday life. Tracing themes trains your brain to spot repeated ideas in the media you consume. It acts as this invisible shield, making you an active, critical thinker who can see the underlying messages in what you read, watch, and hear every single day. All right, Section 3, How to Trace Themes. This is the detective's formula. Let's break down the exact three-step methodology for tracking these ideas. It's honestly beautifully simple. Beginning, middle, end. In Step 1, the beginning, you're hunting for early hints. What is the character's flawed core belief? Often, a theme is actually introduced as a negative, like a character lacking something vital. Then in Step 2, the middle, you track the friction. How do the story's events challenge that idea? Does the character learn a really hard lesson? And finally, Step 3, the end. How is the theme confirmed or totally redefined by the resolution? This rhythm right here, beginning, middle, end, that is your master key to unlocking literally any character's journey. Let's jump into Section 4, Tracing Themes in Action. Time for some pop culture case studies. Let's kick things off with the theme of responsibility in The Lion King. Look at the beginning. Simba believes he caused his father's death, so what does he do? He runs away. He completely abandons his role as heir, so the theme is introduced through total avoidance. Then we hit the middle. Simba meets Rafiki. This is the major turning point where Rafiki challenges him to face his past, teaching him that leadership requires courage, not perfection. In the end, Simba returns, defeats Scar, and claims his throne. We trace responsibility from absolute avoidance all the way to courageous acceptance. Okay, let's take that exact same detective lens and apply it to the theme of generosity in A Christmas Carol. In the beginning, Ebenezer Scrooge is entirely defined by his selfishness. Generosity is practically dead to him. In the middle, the ghosts force him to witness the agonizing harm caused by his greed, which is directly contrasted with the joy of the Cratchit family. The theme grows through the friction of his guilt. And by the end, Scrooge is entirely transformed. He's freely giving his wealth and his heart to his community. Generosity grows from absolute zero to total abundance. And for our third example, let's look at the theme of justice in the book Holes. At the beginning, Stanley Yelnats is falsely convicted and sent to this brutal desert camp. The story kicks off with pure injustice. In the middle, the grueling work of digging holes leads Stanley to uncover a deep web of corruption tied directly to his own ancestors. Every single clue screams for fairness, and in the end, Stanley exposes the corrupt warden, he proves his innocence, and he breaks his family's curse. The journey tracks perfectly from unfair suffering to ultimate, satisfying justice.
Now, what is super fascinating here is that when you put these three wildly different stories side by side, their shared structural DNA is just staring you right in the face. Whether we are talking about lions, ghosts, or desert camps, the author always uses the beginning to establish the problem, the middle to force the confrontation, and the end to resolve and cement the theme. It just proves how universal this storytelling formula truly is. Section 5. Education, Morality, and You. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the big picture. Reflecting on the core principles of the Heroes Smart Academy Godly Learners series, we actually find a really profound truth in Romans 8:6-7. This scripture promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. It's a powerful reminder that as we dissect these themes in literature, we aren't just doing some boring academic exercise, right? We are actively shaping our inner lives and our spiritual well-being. And that brings us to this foundational truth. Education without morality will eventually hurt. I mean, think about it for a second. What good is being highly educated if you just use that intelligence to make poor moral choices that damage yourself and the people around you? True education absolutely must intertwine with morality. Just like tracking a theme of responsibility in a novel, you have to track those exact same themes in your own life, ensuring your intelligence is always steered by a strong moral compass. Finally, Section 6. Test your knowledge. Let's put those new detective skills to work. I'm going to leave these 5 homework questions up here for you. Take a moment to really reflect on everything we've covered today, from those early hints to the middle conflicts, all the way to a story's final resolution. I challenge you to find an enduring theme in the very next piece of media you consume. But beyond that, I want you to ask yourself this. If someone were to track the beginning, middle, and end of the choices you make every single day, what would they say is the enduring theme of your life? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll catch you next time.